So in yesterday's session, we have seen how to create the implementation user, and we have created implementation project also. So in today's session, what we'll do is we'll talk about what does it mean by Oracle Fusion Cloud Applications and different options for customers, cloud options for customers.
Hi Lakshman, Sirish here.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, this is my first class today.
Okay.
So can you give me an overview, what was covered yesterday?
There is no dependency on yesterday's session, and first these 2 points discussed. I'll just walk you through in today's session only, but after discussing these points. So what we are going to discuss, no dependency. That's completely separate content. Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. So this is what we done right in yesterday's session: how to create the user, how to create the implementation project. So in today's session, we'll discuss about what does it mean by Oracle Fusion Cloud Applications, what are the options for the customers when they are going to use these cloud applications, and we'll talk about our course content also. So after completing these few points, we'll proceed with the application configuration again. Okay, we'll see the setups in the system. We'll continue just these 2 tasks we completed. We'll proceed from there. So before that, we'll go through these few points. Fine. So here, so when we talk about the Fusion, these are the points which we are going to discuss exactly. Okay, what is the meaning of Oracle Fusion applications, and what does it mean by cloud computing, and what is the difference between on-premise and the cloud, and cloud options for customers, and what's new in the Fusion application. I'm not addressing everything in this presentation, but very primary points which you have to understand as a new compared to EBS, those I just mentioned. Once we get into the classes, we can see more detail level. Here just I am giving the titles. We'll discuss very high level. And once we're done with that, we'll go through the course curriculum. After completing these points, we'll continue with the application configuration where we stopped yesterday. Done. The first point is, what does it mean by Fusion application? To understand that, let's look into the slide. So these are the different ERP products which are available in the market: JD Edwards, PeopleSoft, CBIL, Oracle E-Business Suite, and Hyperion for planning, budgeting, reporting. This is an enterprise application. The same way Primavera for project portfolio management. So not only this, there are many other ERP products in the market. So when you look at these different products, each product is very much specialized in the specific area. We don't see any specific ERP which is really doing good for all the areas. If you take Oracle EBS Suite, Oracle E-Business Suite, so out of E-Business Suite in the market, the financials management, the financials applications are very famous from Oracle applications. If any company is looking for CRM solution, the CRM solution is available from Oracle E-Business Suite, but that is not great if you compare with CBIL CRM. From CBIL ERP, CRM solution is very much famous in the market. If you compare Oracle EBS CRM solution with the CBIL is really good. In the same way, if any company is looking for HRMS solution, we have HRMS, Human Resource Management System, where we can manage employees, payrolls, and other transactional data related to employees. So that is, we have within the Oracle E-Business Suite also, but the same solution what is available from the PeopleSoft ERP, that is very famous in the market. From the PeopleSoft, we have HCM, Human Capital Management. The same way, supply chain management or procurement area is very famous from the JD Edwards. And when I talk about reporting, in the market, the Hyperion is very famous tool for reporting and planning and budgeting related areas. The same way, if you want to do that, any kind of scheduling related to your project, the project portfolio management is very famous from Primavera. So this is how we have a different ERP products and enterprise applications in the market. But if any company is going to implement ERP for their organization, the big question is which ERP they have to choose. There is no single ERP which is very much rich in all the areas to support their business process in the expected way. If the company is more into financial driven process, definitely they'll choose Oracle E-Business Suite, since financial management is very sound from the Oracle E-Business Suite. Even if they are going to have a implementation for HCM, they'll be proceeding with Oracle E-Business Suite only. It's not a simple job for the organization taking the license and integrating and managing the different applications, since those areas are good enough in the respective ERP products. So that is the reason most of the companies, what they do is, what is their primary area? That primary area is very good in which ERP product, that ERP product they'll opt, and along with that, what are the other applications are available with the same ERP vendor, they'll try to use the same, since their primary area is going to be the which is a famous in that specific ERP. So in this case, what Oracle did is, this is how we have a market. So what Oracle did is, Oracle acquired almost many ERPs which are there in the market. Say Oracle acquired JD Edwards, okay, Oracle acquired PeopleSoft. These are the different ERP products which are owned by different vendors. But what Oracle did is, Oracle acquired JD Edwards, Oracle acquired PeopleSoft, Siebel, and anyway, Oracle E-Business Suite is owned by Oracle company, and Hyperion, Primavera. There are many other ERP applications and different tools and technologies they acquired. After acquiring, what they did is, from the respective applications, which is very much famous and really doing good as per the business requirements, the specific areas they taken, by taking those areas, they built one application called as Fusion Applications. That means Oracle, what they did is, they acquired PeopleSoft. From PeopleSoft, they taken HCM, and Siebel, they taken CRM, and Oracle E-Business Suite, they taken financials. From Hyperion, they taken Hyperion reporting. From Primavera, they taken project portfolio management. From JD Edwards, they taken the partial supply chain related functional and procurement related areas. And from other ERPs, what they acquired from that, which is that ERPs are specialized in which applications, those applications they taken into Fusion application. That's how they build Fusion applications. Okay, so this is how Oracle build the Fusion application. The meaning of Fusion application means the Fusion applications built based on multiple legacy of ERP products. So if you look into the Fusion applications, within the Fusion applications, okay, what are the reporting capabilities which you see, that is from Hyperion. Okay, and if you see that project related, that is from Primavera, project scheduling and all. And within the Fusion applications, so what are the applications you see, those are from Oracle E-Business Suite. And what are the CRM solution we see within the Fusion application, that they taken from the Siebel. The same way HCM, Human Capital Management, they taken from the PeopleSoft, from JD Edwards, SCM and the procurement related areas they taken. That's how they built ultimate product called as Fusion application. If any client is going to use Fusion applications for their financials, HCM, procurement, SCM, projects or reporting, for everything they are going to have the best products within the same suite of Fusion applications. That's how they build Fusion applications. So when you are working on the Fusion applications, you don't see the titles as a PeopleSoft, Siebel, and everything you see as a Oracle Fusion applications only. Okay, so this is how they build the Fusion applications. The next point is, what does it mean by cloud computing? So when you talk about cloud computing, we know the basic point. If you are going to do the implementation for any client, what the client does is, they buy the server infrastructure, they take the applications license, and they'll get the DBA, and the DBA will install the applications, say EBS applications, into that server, and the DBA will take care of the server maintenance and everything, and will get that network administrator, the security, etc., etc. These all guys will be managing that server, and they'll be working where that would be available for the business to use in the day-to-day business transaction process or any sort of reporting in all the aspects. So that we know in case of EBS. In cloud computing, what happens? That means in case of on-premise, we are using the physical servers. We are deploying the servers and we are using everything will be managed by our team only. Okay, our team only. So in case of cloud computing, what will happen? So if you talk about cloud computing, what cloud computing companies does is, say you take example Oracle. Oracle is one of the big cloud computing company now because they acquired the cloud technologies also from other vendors. So now after acquiring that cloud technologies from the different vendors, Oracle also one of the cloud computing company in the market now. So Oracle has a capability of providing the cloud services to requested customers. In cloud computing, what they do is, the cloud computing company what they does is, they'll buy the big servers, physical servers, okay, not a small servers, big missions. Okay, they'll get big missions, physical servers. By using that missions with the concept called as virtualizations, they'll create the virtual servers. Say they have a 10 clients. For 10 clients, they are not going to maintain 10 physical servers. They'll maintain big server. By using that, the server will have a capacity of generating the virtual servers. Okay, they'll create this sort of virtual servers for each client. They'll create separate virtual servers. That virtual servers they'll be deploying in the internet. Who has access to internet, easily they can connect to this virtual servers, and these virtual servers they'll make available to nearest to the customers data centers. I mean, say the customer from India and US. Okay, the customer is based out in India and US. The one customer is going to use Oracle Fusion applications, and customer is doing the business in India and US. And for that customer, Oracle will create one virtual server. After creating the virtual server, the physical server site is residing in the US, but client is operating the business in India and US. So when client is accessing the same server, virtual server from India and US, they'll make available these virtual servers in the nearest data center. When India user is trying to connect to the server, what they'll do is, the same virtual server they'll keep available in the India data center which Oracle has. The same way, if any user is trying to connect from the US, for the user, where is the nearest data center they have in US, this virtual server they'll keep available over there. If some client is going to connect this Fusion applications from say from UK, the system automatically, the cloud computing process will identify the user is trying to connect from which country. In the same country, the Oracle data center is available or not, it will identify. When it identifies the user request, it will route to the nearest data center virtual server. That's how the access will become easy, user experience will be rich. So URL will be one, but the routing they will be changing automatically. That URL will identify what is the nearest data center which is owned by that company. Within the data center, what are the virtual server they are maintaining for their customer. To that virtual server only the request will be submitted. That's how the user will get connected. That means there won't be big distance in terms of network process for the business users when they are trying to access to the application. So this is what cloud computing companies does. Okay, so if you take physical server, say you have a server in US and you are running the business, you say your business users are sitting in India and US and UK. From these three countries they are just working and they are using that application. If India user is going to submit any request to the server, in all the ways the request should go and hit the server, that there will be traffic in the network and there will be many challenges. It's a time taking process. Server response again, the request should goes to from India to US to network, and the server should respond, and the user will be able to get the data whatever they're expecting, or report they're running, and what are the process they are doing. If US user is trying to submit the request, for US user, the physical server which is there in US, that's the nearest. So it won't take much time. The immediate response the user can see. But in case of India user, the response and the performance point of view will be a little bit poor. So that is the reason in cloud computing what it does is they'll keep available the virtual server in the nearest data centers where users are working from. So that's how whenever they try to connect that servers, the response and whatever data they are trying to fetch, so in the fraction of seconds they can get it, any kind of process or generating the reports or anything. It's a one click away. That's how they can have an experience. That's the meaning of cloud computing. In cloud computing, the virtual servers will be created and those will be located in the nearest data centers of the client users, and so that when they try to connect, the user experience will be very good, and those virtual servers, they'll be residing as source as the internet. If who has access to internet directly, they can just connect to this and they'll be able to do it. And we have a few points whether this can be managed private or public. Those points also we'll discuss. Just try to understand in cloud computing, okay, technique what companies does. Okay, so this is the point we have to understand. Any questions on this, please? Cloud computing. What are the instances we are going to access? How those would be available? How those would be available? The cloud computing company will create virtual server for each client that they'll be placing internet as a source, and the physical servers they'll be deploying in the nearest data centers for the clients, means customers. Any questions here, please? Fine. So the next point is these are the different options available for customers.
Hey, Lakshman, I have a question.
Please.
Yeah, so this one, right? So is data going to replicate in these three? So what I mean to say, like like between India and US, right? You said.
They'll establish
Okay.
full data synchronization among those. Okay, the virtual servers, whatever they are maintaining different data centers, among those virtual servers, the data synchronization will take place.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
Online data synchronization it takes. So that's how you can feel you are accessing only one instance, one virtual instance only, since the full online data synchronization takes place. Done.
Okay.
Fine. So these are the three options available for the customers in the market if they want to use the cloud applications. The one is SAS, the second one is PaaS, third one is IaaS. So most of the clients are using the SAS model. What does it mean by SAS? SAS stands for Software as a Service. Okay, Software as a Service. In that case, what being a customer, if you are going to implement Oracle Fusion applications for your organization, so as a customer, we can consume those applications. You can consume. That means Oracle will provide the virtual server. Within that, you'll have an operating system and applications. Okay, they'll take care of everything. The complete maintenance will be done by Oracle only. So we'll pay and we'll use that application. So we'll just say, let's say we'll take the subscription for financials, SCM and HCM. Then we'll get the implementation team. The implementation team will implement. Then we'll start using, and we'll have a support team also to support if any issues we come across in the usage process. So how it works in EBS, the same process we follow here, but in case of EBS, almost every client will have their own server. Here, no customer is going to have, or no client is going to have their own server. The servers, everything will be managed by Oracle. Being a customer, you can pay how many users are going to use that server, how many users need access to financials, how many users need access to SCM, HCM, and what are the applications we are going to use, which applications we are going to use, how many users access is required. Based on that, we'll pay to Oracle. They'll give the access instance. Then we'll start using that instance. We'll implement and we'll use, and the complete maintenance will be taken care by Oracle, including the DBA. Hardly we need functional consultants to do the implementation and support. and for certain areas we require technical consultants. Primarily we need functional consultants. If any client is going with the SAS subscription for Fusion applications, they can consume, they can just use. If they want to develop some new functionality, that is not possible in the SAS. Okay, if some client is going to use SAS software as a service, they can consume the application, they can use the applications, they can connect to that virtual server, they can implement, they can use. But if they want to develop some new functionality, say in the payables application, you want to create one page which allows you to process certain transaction related data, or it could be anything else. So if you want to do any sort of customizations, that is not possible in the SAS. But in the SAS, reports customization is possible. Reports customization means you are not doing any kind of enhancements to the application, you are not building some new functionality. Report customization means what are the data is available within the application, which data you want to see. You are not disturbing or you are not modifying existing application, or you are not adding some new functionality. That is the reason in the SAS, reports customization is possible. And if you are using the SAS, you can do the integrations. You can do the integration, that could be inbound or outbound integrations with the third party application. That is possible because that is a very ideal requirement for most of the clients. That is the reason even client is going to use the SAS option or SAS model of cloud applications usage, still they can do the third party integrations. And the big advantage in the SAS is, say client is using these cloud applications with release 11. If Oracle comes up with a release 12, they automatically the environment will get upgraded. Say now the current latest version is release 13. If client is running their applications, they are running their applications release 12. If they are using the SAS subscription, automatically the entire applications will be converted from 12 to 13. That means auto upgrade takes place since you don't have much customizations which are related to functionalities. So that is the reason most of the clients, okay, most of the clients are using the SAS subscriptions only. In the market who are using these Fusion applications, most of the clients are SAS clients only. That means they cannot do any functional related customizations, but still they can do report related customization. That means they can create the custom reports, they can establish the connectivity with the third party applications as an inbound interface or outbound interface. Okay, these points, the integration related, we'll be discussing in one session. I'll just take you through what are the different options we have, what is the meaning of each and everything related to that. We'll discuss, but as a general point, integrations are possible in SAS. Report customizations are possible, but functionality related customizations, okay, writing some custom PLL procedures and all within the application, how we do in EBS, that is not possible. The great advantage of SAS is auto upgrade. Whenever Oracle comes up with the latest release, automatically your environment also you can see in the same release. So that's how the customers can enjoy the new functionalities what Oracle releases with the regular or scheduled releases. So that's all about SAS. Let me take you through these other two also, then if you have any questions we'll discuss. And the other one is PaaS. PaaS means platform as a service. This is software as a service, this is platform as a service. In case of PaaS, Oracle will allow you to build new applications. It could be new applications or new functionality. You will get server and you will get operating system within the server, and you will get a control on the application. Here the control also will be taken care by Oracle will have a control on the applications also. You won't get any scope of managing the applications and modifying, etc. In case of PaaS model, so these will be controlled and managed by Oracle. Applications, you will have all the rights to modify, to build some new functionality, or to build altogether new application. These and all can be done in case of PaaS. They'll provide you the, see, PaaS, platform as a service. They'll provide you the platform which will allow you to build applications, and the same will allow you to deploy also within the same environment. So if you are using the PaaS subscription from Oracle for Fusion applications or say Fusion cloud applications, the auto upgrade is not possible. since you PaaS will allow you to do the customizations, auto upgrade is not possible, and rest everything remains same. In case of PaaS, auto upgrade is possible, and you cannot do the application related customizations. But in case of PaaS, auto upgrade is not possible since you are doing the enhancements or you are building the new functionality within the Fusion applications. So auto upgrade is not possible, but the great advantage is you can build the new functionalities, you can build the new applications, and you can do the modifications, and you can just play with the application how we do in case of EBS. So generally the most of the small and medium sized clients are using the SaaS subscriptions. If there is any big organization, large organization where their process need to be customized, in that case they go with the PaaS subscriptions. So along with this, we have one more option from Oracle or any cloud computing company, IaaS. IaaS means infrastructure as a service. In that case, just will get the storage space, hosting service will get from Oracle or any other company. Within that, which application, which operating system you want to install, you can install. Which applications you want to install and manage, you can do that. It is just taking the hosting service. Here there is nothing related to applications. Any applications you can install in this, you can use it. It is just hosting. This is, you will get the applications, those you can build, you can modify, you can customize. Here you don't get an option of doing the customizations. How Oracle is providing the standard application, you have to use as it is. Here advantages in SAS model, advantages auto upgrade, disadvantages you cannot do any functionality related customizations. In PaaS the advantage is you can do the customizations, but you cannot do any auto upgrades are not possible in case of PaaS. So these are the points we have to understand. Now the most of the clients what they are using is SaaS. Very few clients whose business process need to be customized and who are just running as a large organizations. Those clients are using the PaaS. IaaS, it's not related to application, so anyone can take this IaaS. You can take that IaaS subscription. You can install any applications. See, instead of buying the server infrastructure, you can take the IaaS subscription so that you can take the license for the application, you can install. That's how you can use in case of IaaS. Just it is a hosting service. This is with applications, and the specifications already we discussed. Any questions on these points, please? SAS, PaaS, IaaS.
Lakshman, one
Yep.
question, a couple of questions.
Please.
So, is there any limit to the number of environments Oracle provides?
Yeah.
I know
When
that
you,
apart from
yeah,
prod.
yes. When you take anything, it could be like SAS or PaaS, you'll get only 2 environments. In Fusion, the instances we call as pod, POD pod, like iPod. We call as pod, POD pod. By default, you get 2 pods. One for if it is a SaaS, one you can use as a test pod or a test instance you can call, the other one for production. If it is going to be PaaS subscription, one you may use for testing and development, the second one you will be using as a production. If you want to get more than 2, you have to pay the amount accordingly. Okay, they'll charge some extra amount for that additional request which you are going to place to get additional pods.
Okay, that's only in the PaaS, not in the
SaaS and
SaaS.
PaaS, both.
Okay. So, yeah. So another question is like in PaaS, you can have your own custom schema to extend the database, right? And you get the update rights on the.
See, ask your direct question. Don't mind. Just
Yeah. So what I'm asking is the custom schema is possible in the PaaS
yes,
model, right?
because customizations if you are doing means yes, those all are allowed.
Allowed. So you get the update rights as well on the standard table as well.
We can do that means that's the meaning. Like in EBS customizations, we can do what we can do. Everything you can do in case of PaaS also. That's it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Other questions?
One question, Lakshman.
Please.
In SAS model, the thing is that some clients will use the vertex tags kind of thing. some clients will
It could
use
be
the
SAS or PaaS. You can integrate with any third-party tools or applications for inflow
Mhm.
outflow. Yes, you can use one
Okay.
of the taxware tax engines to calculate the
Okay.
taxes in the respective applications. Possible.
Okay. Okay. Got it.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Any other questions?
So what's most common? Is it PaaS or SAS used?
SAS.
SAS. Okay.
90, I could say 95% clients Oracle has for SAS only.
Hi, Laxman. For PaaS, sorry, for SAS, the data itself, is it residing in the cloud, or the owners own the data? So, for example,
No. Everything will be managed by Oracle only.
Okay.
In the Oracle servers, in the Oracle virtual servers, discussed, right? So Oracle, by using the physical servers, they'll create the virtual servers. Okay, in the virtual servers, data would reside. It could be SAS.
So Oracle will
Same happens. Only the difference is in PaaS, you'll get a flexibility of doing the customizations that is not possible in the SAS. That's it. The data and application management and everything same. Everything will be residing in the virtual servers.
So will it mean, does it mean we will not get any back-end database access like R12
Yes, we'll
in
get.
SAS?
You cannot, by default, as per the application what we are providing, you cannot connect to Toad or some other tools. But within the application, they are providing the framework where you can go and write the queries. Within the application only, they are giving that option. You can query the data from database, but not from, but not by using some third-party tools. Within the application, and the BI page they are providing, business intelligence page. From there, you can write any SQL queries and you can fetch the data. Possible.
So then how can we execute the DDL and the DMLs?
So data definition and all, that's what in SAS you do that. Sorry, in SAS it's you cannot create the tables, you cannot do other operations and all. In PaaS you cannot do all those things. In that environment only you can write any query.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Okay. I mean, like, how are they doing? Because like my client has a custom schema, like a heavily customized module. So that means they cannot implement the SAS. Like every client will have their own custom schemas, right?
Every client, if you say every client maintains their own schemas, you are referring which application? Where you are talking? You are talking about Oracle applications or what exactly?
Yeah, Oracle EBS. Oracle
Oracle.
EBS, we
Okay.
have
Yeah, your client is using their own schemas and all. Okay, fine.
correct,
They developed some
correct,
application or etc.
correct. That is right.
Want
So
to move to
can they
Fusion
migrate
applications?
to?
No. If they want to move to Fusion applications, if they want to move the same into Fusion environment, they have to go with a PaaS so that they can create the same in the PaaS environment. They are using the EBS applications, they have customization, they have their own schemas to store and manage the data related to some process or applications or functionality. So if they are going with the SAS doesn't allow any customization. So you cannot create your own schemas, you cannot build any functionality which supports for business users to enter the transaction so that the data can be stored in that schema. That is not possible. So when they are moving to Fusion, they have to choose, they have to check whether they have customizations or not. Yes, they have customizations. Still, if they want SAS subscription, what they have to do is they have to forget about all those customizations. They may plan for all those things need to be managed in the Fusion, in the SAS as a workarounds or etc. if possible. Say they have a customization, they don't want to ignore those customizations. Those customizations are very much important as per their business process. If this is the case, definitely they have to opt for PaaS. If they go with the SAS, that doesn't work, right? Because they have customizations. The customizations are not invited by SAS. That is possible in the PaaS only. So when they understand this SAS PaaS, how it works, then they can take the decision from the current environment when they are moving to cloud, whether they have to choose SAS or PaaS.
Just questions regarding personalization. Is it available in SAS?
Yes, SAS you can do the basic personalizations, and if you want to do some deeper personalizations. That is not possible, and that is not possible in the SAS. That is possible only in the PaaS. The very basic personalizations you can do in the SAS, where hiding the fields, making optional field as a mandatory. These sort of very basic personalizations you can do in the SAS. But if you want to write some custom PLL kind of thing, some condition you want to set in the specific process or fields, etc., those not possible in SAS. You can do that in the PaaS. Any other questions? Okay. So that's all about SAS, PaaS, IaaS. Most of the clients are using SAS, and very few clients who are large and whose business process need to be customized, they are using the PaaS subscription. We don't need to worry about IaaS. It's just hosting service. Anyone can take, not only for Oracle, for any other application they can take. They can install the operating system. They can install the application. They can start using. Okay, done. So here, the clients, when they are going to opt for this cloud application, these are the three options are available. They can go with the public cloud, or they can go with the private cloud, or they can go with the hybrid cloud. Public cloud means, so Oracle or any other cloud computing company, they don't maintain separate server for the one customer. They'll use one server. By using that one server, they can create this sort of n number of virtual servers. Each virtual server they can give to one client, but data would be secure, no doubt in that. That is a public. That means off-site infrastructure with third-party management. Off-site infrastructure. As a customer, we don't maintain any infrastructure. That everything will be managed by third-party management. Say Oracle will manage for us. That is a public. When you say private, on-site infrastructure, we may maintain the infrastructure, or else you can ask the Oracle, please maintain the separate server for us and manage that server. We'll start using and we'll be paying accordingly. Okay, we'll request Oracle, don't give me the instance access, which is common pool of environment, where like the same server is going to support n number of virtual servers. That we don't need in case of private. In case of private, by using one server, they'll create the separate virtual server. That virtual server will be accessing, that would be dedicated for one customer only. In case of public, the server is dedicated for multiple customers, but within that, within the server, what are the virtual servers, which virtual instances or say servers. Okay, physically would be one, but the virtual whatever they can create multiple, each they can dedicate for one customer. Server one, multiple segregations as a virtual servers. Each server, virtual server, they will be sharing with one client. That's how that would be as a complete segregated environment for each and every client. But in case of private, one server can be used for one client. By using that one server, they'll create one virtual server that they'll give the access to the one client. When it comes to hybrid, the combination of both. Say for example, you have a requirement, you want to use HRMS and SCM data in public cloud, but financials applications you want to manage in the private cloud. So in that case, you will fall under hybrid. So few applications you are running in the public cloud, and few applications in the dedicated server you are running. So this combination of public and private options we call as hybrid cloud. So these are the three options we have. So when you talk about public, there we have SAS, PaaS, IaaS. When you talk about private, it's a dedicated for you and you can play with that application. Here also the combination. When the part of public will comes into picture, hybrid, the SAS, PaaS, IaaS will come into the picture. When you talk about private, so everything is dedicated for you. You can do anything. You don't need to worry about the SAS or PaaS, IaaS environments. Ideally the public, so the SAS, PaaS, IaaS, so you have to choose. If it is a private, it's going to be private. Definitely everything will be in your control. That's it. So any questions here, please? Fine, no questions. We'll move on to next slide. Almost we discussed these points. On-premise versus cloud. So if you are going to use on-premise, the Fusion applications also you can use on-premise, but the latest versions are not available. Little older versions are available to use on-premise. You can buy the server and you can get the license from Oracle, and you can install the Fusion applications into the server. So if you are going to maintain your own server, and if you are going to manage the Fusion applications, you should call the Fusion applications as a Oracle Fusion applications only. You should not include the term called as cloud. Instead of maintaining your own server, if you are going to access Fusion applications with the help of Oracle as a virtual servers, that we call as Fusion cloud applications. Okay, wherever applications are deployed, based on that you can include or exclude term called as cloud. Applications are Oracle Fusion applications only. When you call as Oracle Fusion cloud applications, if you are accessing those applications with a cloud technique, that means applications, the server and applications will be managed by Oracle as a client you are using. Then call it as Oracle Fusion applications. You are a client to Oracle, you take in the license for Fusion applications, you have your own server, you install in that server, you have your own DB and technical team to manage the server and access. In that case, the Fusion applications you call as Oracle Fusion applications only. You should not include the term called as cloud. Reason, you are not using the cloud technology to access those applications. Those you are placing in the on-premise environment you are using. So if you are using the servers which are managed by Oracle, then only you have to include the term called as cloud. That's the difference between Oracle Fusion applications and Oracle Fusion cloud applications. In terms of functionality, there is no difference. Functionality is same. If it is on-premise, you will have a full control. If it is a cloud, using SAS or PaaS, already we discussed what we can do, what we cannot do. Okay, so that's all about the on-premise and cloud. Here, when you talk about on-premise, CapEx upfront investment. You have to invest a lot. You have to buy the server infrastructure and all. For that reason, you have to invest a lot. But in case of cloud, you no need to pay anything for upfront investment. You don't need to buy the server and all. Just rent a flexible service, pay as you grow. Now you can just take for 10 users or 20 users. Tomorrow, when you are extending your just branches and business, you may just users size also may be increased. In that case, you can pay for additional users. That's how you can just as you grow, like you can just pay and you can use the service from Oracle. No investment for server infrastructure and all. Here in case of on-premise, the customer owned upgrades and patching. The patchings and upgrades and everything should be done by the client team only. In case of Fusion applications, the upgrades will be done by Oracle only, and the patches, if you are using that application, if any bug, if Oracle recommends to apply the patch, Oracle DBS only will apply the patches. It could be SAS or PaaS, Oracle DBS will help us. The same way you can see that standard security and access anywhere, whenever you require the security and everything, Oracle will take care. And no updates but latest functionality via regular releases. Whenever Oracle comes up with new release, that would be available for you to use. So this is a basic difference to understand between SAS and cloud and on-premise environments. Okay, fine. Now there are few points to understand what's new in the Fusion applications. Roles. In yesterday's session already we have seen the roles like application implementation consultant, IT security manager, and employee. These are the roles we assign to the user. So that is a roles concept Oracle introduced in the Fusion application, whereas in EBS, everything the user can have access to anything with the responsibility concept. But in the Fusion, roles. Still, there are few very important points which we have to discuss about roles. That we'll see maybe after 1 or 2 classes. Okay, for now just the point is that any user access will totally depends on the roles which we are associating to that user. That means user can be provisioned access through roles concept in the Fusion applications. And reporting. When you talk about reporting, for all the applications, GL, AP, RCM, all the applications, they are providing BI reporting, that is inbuilt. Okay, in case of EBS, if you need BI reporting and all, you have to take the license separately and you have to pull the data from Oracle database to BI environment, then you can prepare the BI reports. But in Fusion by default, for all the applications, you can use the BIP reports. Okay, business intelligence publisher, BIP is available. You can run the reports and you want to customize the reports by using the BIP, you can do. You don't need to pay extra. That comes as an inbuilt reporting capabilities for all the applications. And when I talk about GL, in the GL we have Hyperion reporting. For all the applications we have BI reporting, and along with that for GL, in EBS we have FSG. If somebody is not aware of FSG, ignore the points which I'm talking about related to EBS. Okay, in EBS we have FSG. In that place they are giving now no FSG in the Fusion application. They replaced with FRS, Financial Reporting Studio. It's nothing but Hyperion reporting. And FBDA stands for file-based data import. See, the point is I'm introducing these things. We are not discussing detail level. We have a separate sessions to work on each and everything. Okay, we have FBDA, file-based data import. By using this file-based data imports, you can execute data conversions. That could be master data, transactional data. And accounting. When it comes to accounting for financials, yes, same we have SLA. So there are a few points, the naming convention they changed, and more changes you could see in the SCM. So in order management accounting and inventory accounting and purchasing related accounting, they did some changes. When you are working on P2P O2C, let's talk about that. And BPM stands for Business Process Management. So in EBS we have AME, Approval Management Engine, which allows us to create the approval rules for, it could be invoice related approvals or purchase order, requisitions and journals. Any approvals you can manage with AME and EBS. But in the Fusion we have a BPM, Business Process Management, where you can create your approval rules, and it's very flexible application or flexible component to create the rules as we require. And security console, already we have seen in the last session. So by using this, it's a similar to administration. In EBS we have responsibility called as system administrator, where you can create the users responsibilities, you can set the profile options, and you can create the custom menus. This is all you can do. The similar activities you can do within the security console. In the last session what we did, we created users from the security console, we assigned the roles from the security console, right? And Fusion architecture, yes, in case of EBS, applications and database, but Fusion architecture is totally different from EBS architecture. That we'll discuss very detailed level, what exactly and why they did that, what we have in each and every level we'll discuss. And another one is FSM, Functional Setup Manager. In the last session we have gone through this FSM also. With FSM what we can do is we can do the application related configuration, right? So implementation project. So to manage your setups, you have to create the implementation project, but it is not mandatory. That also we discussed. Social networking. There is an inbuilt plugin, inbuilt functionality within the Fusion applications where you can use a social networking. If you are working for payables, you can just create the one group for payables user. When you create invoice, you can share with them. When you make the payment, you can share with them. When you are closing the periods, you can share with them. Once you close the period, you can communicate that information. How we use Facebook to communicate and to keep in touch with the friends and known people. In the same way, the people who are working on the applications to establish the communication, the seamless communication with other workers in the organization, you can use the social networking that is available within the application itself. And dashboards, which will help us to show that information, what action we have to take. So based on what we did, who has to take the action, and what information we have to what information like we should know as per our role. So all the details you can find in the dashboard. If no dashboards, see in EBS we don't have dashboards. All the time we have to run the reports to know that, we have to run some process to get to know, and we have to take different navigations to get to know relevant data. But dashboards will help us. Just it's all ready-made kind of data where you have to take action, what information you should have aware, as per your role, what process, what things are happening, what you have to understand. Everything would be visible directly in case of dashboards. We'll see once we get into the application. RI stands for rapid implementation. So with the RI, what we can do is we can create the setups by using the spreadsheet. So you want to create the calendar, you want to create the primary ledger, you want to create the legal entity, you want to create your business unit or say operating unit. So instead of going to application, so your calendars data, ledgers data and everything you can provide in the spreadsheet. Oracle is providing RI spreadsheets, rapid implementation spreadsheets. You can put the data in that, you can submit that sheet to Fusion applications, you can upload that sheet into Fusion applications. Automatically the setup system will keep ready. You don't need to take the navigation, you don't need to click on so-and-so tab, you don't need to enter the data, you don't need to click on next, switching to different tabs, saving the record. These are all not required. Simply you can keep the data in the spreadsheet. So very much formatted sheets which Oracle will provide, and you can submit that sheet to application, just automatically the setups will be ready. And users also, in the last session we created implementation user. Other than implementation user, we have a employee user also. Once we reach that stage, we'll discuss why implementation employee user is required, what is the difference between implementation user and employee user. And enterprise structure. In EBS, we have multi-org structure. Similar to that, in Fusion, instead of calling it as a multi-org structure, we call it as enterprise structure. How this enterprise structure is similar to EBS multi-org and how it is different. Okay, all these points we'll discuss, and we'll spend good amount of time to discuss about enterprise structure, how that can be built, and we'll be creating our own enterprise structure as a part of our classes. Okay, so this is what we are going to do. So these are the points just to understand something new, but there are many other points to understand as a separate features, and all those are all we'll go through. Okay, so apart from that, so I'll just take you through the course curriculum. Fine, this is the course curriculum which we are going to cover this training program. So primarily we are going to focus on these applications, these 5 applications: general ledger, accounts payables, account receivables, cash management, fixed assets. Okay, we'll just go through end-to-end process, the complete configuration, and the process, and within the each and every application, the specific future related setups and relevant process, everything will go through. And when you talk about Fusion expense and tax, okay, this also will cover the configuration process flow. And here P2P and O2C cycles. To implement P2P and O2C, we'll be working on purchasing application, and product management, nothing but inventory application. Here they're given a product called as application called as product management, which is equal to inventory in the Fusion. And order management will be working on P2P and O2C cycles. What are the setups required from purchasing, product management, order management? From all these applications we'll do required setups, and we'll be working on that. Apart from that, these are the other points which you have to understand. We'll be working on all these conversions, master data, transactional data, reporting, etc. And the training, whatever we are going to have, that would be almost say similar to fresh environment and based training. I mean, when you are working for your client, so if you get access to fresh instance, what are the points you have to consider, from where to start, how to start? With that approach we are going to follow, and I'll be comparing whatever we are going to do in the Fusion. I'll be comparing with the EBS also, so that the people who are from the EBS background, it would be easy for them to correlate. If somebody is not from the EBS background, they don't need to worry about it. As a standalone things, we'll be discussing what we are going to cover in the Fusion. And when you talk about general ledger, these are the just a basic configuration. These are the concepts which we are going to cover. And when you talk about payables, the configuration, and these are the different concepts which we are going to cover within the payables application, including the relevant setups and processes. Everything we'll do in our own environment, means what are the enterprise structure we are going to create, within that only we'll be testing everything, so that you'll understand, you'll get a complete understanding end to end. Otherwise, if you are going to do all this testing and all in the different environment which is already created, setups are done, we can understand we can understand the process. But here, how we do the implementation, how we execute the implementation in case of client, the same approach we are going to follow. The same way receivables configuration, these are the concepts we are going to cover from receivables. The same way cash management, fixed assets, and Fusion expense, Fusion tax, P2P cycle, and O2C cycle, so on. Okay, so that's all about the course curriculum. Fine. So whatever we discussed today, any questions from anyone, please? Any questions from anyone to understand Fusion applications? Yeah.
One question, Lakshman. You explained that in private thing,
Private
we can do
cloud.
anything, right? Private cloud, yeah, we can do anything, right? So
Yes,
in
yes.
that scenario, if Oracle going to upgrade kind of thing,
Yes,
means
it's
SAS
because
can.
see, yeah, if
Mhm.
Oracle is going to do, okay, if the private cloud you are using with customizations, auto upgrade is not applicable. Okay,
Okay.
so
Mm-hmm.
you have to work on that process where which
Okay.
customization, the latest release, which customizations are invited, which cannot be, and which need to be
Okay.
modified. How we do in case of EBS when you're upgrading, that approach you have to follow. Because
Okay. Nothing, but it's kind of pass kind of thing, right?
yeah, definitely that process we have to go.
Okay.
Yeah.
Means whenever a client is going with a private kind of thing, then those applications they will take it as pass kind
No,
of
no,
thing.
no, 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 no. When they are going with the private, again, how you are going to use private, you are using for more security, right? So,
Mhm.
how you are going to use by doing the customizations or without customizations? Based on that, the upgrades will depends.
Okay, got it.
You have a private cloud from the Oracle.
Mm-hmm.
You are not doing any customization because your standard business process is supported by standard application. So no customization
Mm-hmm.
in that case. Then that can be auto upgraded.
Okay, got it.
Yeah,
Okay, thanks.
fine. Thank you. So that's all about those points to understand. Now we'll proceed with the application configuration. So when you get access to instance, what we have to do as a first step, you may create user or else whatever Oracle provides that user you can use it. Okay. And one more point, if somebody is attending today's session as a first session, so they can go through that yesterday's session video and they can come back to me with their questions. Even if I explain very high level, that may not be enough. What we did in the yesterday's session is, so just we created a user. How to create the user, we have seen how to give the access to that user to work as a consultant. And we created implementation project. Implementation project purpose is to do the setups. Okay, don't compare implementation project as entire project execution management or the project lifecycle management, or it's not related to costing, billing, etc. It is simply to manage the setups. So if you create implementation project, you can start doing the setups, how many setups are completed, how many are pending, who has to do which setups. This sort of information can be managed by implementation project. These two we covered in the yesterday's session. If anybody is not attended yesterday's session, we'll be sharing the yesterday's session video. They can go through. Any questions, we'll connect and discuss. Yep, we'll do that. So first step is you may create a user or else you may proceed with the Oracle provided user, and implementation project is not mandatory. If you create implementation project, what is the advantage we discussed? You can manage all the setups and you can see the status and progress of the project, and you will be able to copy all the setups from one instance to another instance. If you don't have implementation project, system will allow you to do the setups, but you cannot progress, you cannot track the progress of the project, and you cannot copy the setups from one instance to another instance by using the configuration packages, right? That's what we discussed. So once you're done with the user creation and project creation, you have to make sure that the geographies information is available for the client, for the country, for which country client you are doing the implementation. There will be a task called as manage geographies. So we don't need to do anything. If you are going to implement for US client, you are going to do the implementation. What you have to do is you have to run the process so that for US, what are the address structure, standard address structure we have. Based on that, system would populate all the states, counties, cities, and postal codes so that that information would be available when you are creating any locations or addresses. That information you can select and you can do the any sort of setups. So before you start with the setups, once you start with the setups, you'll be creating the locations also, right? So that is the reason. Before you start with any other setups, you have to work on the task called as manage geographies. It's a simple task. Just you have to go and click on that. That's it. The rest system will take care of it. We'll see what we have to do. In fresh instance, what we have to do is you have to load the geographies information. From where we are going to load? Not from outside. Within the system only they are providing the geographies information that we have to activate. Okay, that we have to activate so that that information would be available when you create the locations or addresses. Done. So now go to instance, click on username. So to navigate to FSM, we have to click on setup and maintenance task. Right? This is what we discussed in yesterday's session. Just click on setup and maintenance task. So here we have a task panel, or call it as task list. Click on this task list. So if you click on manage implementation projects, you can go to what are the project we created. This is a project we created, right? Fusion Google implementation project. If you open that, you could see within that we selected financials and procurement for implementation. Which applications you are going to implement, those you have to select into this project so that you can start doing the setups. This is what we did in yesterday's session. Now what we want to do is we want to load the geographies information, specific country, address, structure related information we want to load. For that what we have to do is click on task list, click on search. It will take us to search page. From this page you can search and find any task which is available within this instance. The entire pod, what are the tasks are available, you can access. What is the difference between the search page and project page? If you go to project page, or else let me open one more tab. This is search page. The same instance in the different tabs you can open and you can perform the different activities. Different tasks you can perform. It will allow. So I'm going to project page, implementation projects. Okay, this is a Google implementation project. From this project you can do only financials and procurement related setups. But from this page, any application related setups you can do, but there is small limitation that we'll discuss going forward. The simple point is, from the search page you can access any task, but from project you can access the tasks or you can access the setups which are related to finance and procurement only. Okay, now whatever we require manage geographies, that you can access from the search page. Search for manage geographies. So this is a task, manage geographies. Click on manage geographies. Okay, just click on manage geographies. So we are going to do the implementation for which country client. Say we are going to do the implementation for US. Okay, with a country name or country code you can search US. Click on search. So once you find the country, what we have to do is, in the fresh instance, go to actions, click on import geography data. If you notice, these all actions are active, but this import geography data action is grayed out. The reason is, in this instance already that is submitted. One time only we can submit. Once you submit, that would be grayed out. That won't be available again to submit this import geography data. Import geographies means within the instance only Oracle is providing the data related to US country geography data, all the states, counties, cities, postal codes. Once you click on import geography data, the data would get activated. Okay, in fresh instance what we have to do is, we have to go to specific country and we have to go to actions, click on import geography data, then system would load the structure for the country and data for that country. That same, once you click on this, it will run the job in the scheduled process page. But here we cannot do that because this is an instance already Oracle did it. But let's try to understand the point. Once you click on import geographies, it will run the process. Once the process is completed, you can just go to structure define. click on structure defined. Here you could see what structure system is loaded. So this is structure: state, county, city, postal code. Automatically system will load. And next, so based on the structure, it will load the data also. Hierarchy defined. Once you click on that, what are the states, counties, cities, system loaded, that all you can see. This is how system will load automatically. It loaded because already Oracle submitted that action. So under this country, these are the different states we have. Expand any one of the state, you can see all the counties. If you expand the counties, you can see the cities. If you expand the cities, you can see the postal code. So based on the structure, system loaded. From where system loaded? It loaded from the same instance only. We don't need to load from the outside. Just we have to perform the action called as import geography data. That's just simple action we have to perform. Rest system will take care of. So just we have to go to actions. We have to click on import geography data. And one more thing, we have to make sure that go to validation define. Just click on validation define. Here we have address style format. Okay, postal address format, tax address format, no address format. For all these, you have to make sure that enable list of values is enabled. The checkbox is enabled. We have to just see that. So for all these address style formats, you have to make sure that enable list of value checkbox is enabled, so that when you are creating the address, the state field, this is how system will open the LOV to select any one of the state. The same way for county, city, postal code, the LOV system will open. If you don't enable the checkbox, you have to enter exact state, county, city, postal code, which you don't see from the list of values. That's the reason you have to enable. And for the country, if you are going to use, for which country you are doing the implementation, if tax is applicable for that country, you have to make sure that tax validation also, so that this information can be useful in the tax related configuration also. So geography validation, if you are not enabling these, you can set geography validation so that what are the values you are entering. If you don't enable, you have to enter the state name. When you enter the state name, system has to validate it. In the system, whatever the state we have and whatever the state you enter in the field, both are matching or not, system has to validate. Otherwise, whatever the state name you enter, system should accept. In that case, you can disable it. But make sure that all you are enabled. By default, system will enable, but you just verify for all these formats. Okay, for any format, even for no style format also, just enable it. So that's what Oracle recommends. For all these, just make sure that you are enabling, so that there won't be any issue with that. So this is the first point what we have to do before we start with the setups. Once we start with the setups, we'll start creating the locations, maybe for your legal address or your business unit address or inventory, etc. We have to create the locations and addresses within that. So there we need this information. If you need that information there, first what we have to do is we have to select the country and we have to do the import geography data. This is Vision instance, so this task is already completed. This is a one-time task for any instance. India. Search for India. So already import geography data is already loaded. Okay, if you click on hierarchy defined, you can see okay all the states, okay, within that cities, mandals, all you can see within this. So we don't need to take these all from outside. Everything is available within the instance, but if you want to use, you have to submit import geography data. That's it. We no need to do anything. This is a task we have to perform. Once we're done with this, once we run this process, then we can proceed with the setups. Even any address need to be created, we can do that. Okay, that's what we have to do. Once we're done with that, you can start with the common application configuration, common financial configuration. You know, to implement any application to record the transactions, we need primary ledger, right? We need primary ledger. In short, we call as PL. So with the help of primary ledger, you can record the transactions in any application. When you are recording the transactions, definitely you have to capture the date, you have to capture the description of the transaction, you have to specify that is belongs to which currency, and by following which rules the accounting entries should happen. That everything we have to address. Okay, for that we have to create the accounting calendar, right? First we have to create the accounting calendar. The accounting calendar, why we have to create? To capture the date when you are recording the transaction, on which date we are creating the transaction, and the transactions falls under which period. So if you can capture each and every transaction on which date, which period, that information you can use for reporting purpose. And you can set a control also, in which period user can enter transaction, which period user should not enter transaction. If period is past period, we should control. We should set a control not to enter the transaction in the past period. We should allow the business users to enter in the current period. The same way currency. So what are the transaction recording? The amounts we have to enter. The amount is belongs to which currency, whether that is rupees, dollars, dinars. This is all we have to specify. The currency specification should be there for each and every transaction. The same way chart of accounts. Short we call as COA, right? COA, chart of accounts. With the chart of accounts, what we can do is we can capture detailed information of the transaction. The transaction belongs to which company, which department, exactly which activity we did. It belongs to which line of business if you want to track it, and otherwise if you want to track it, it belongs to which location or it belongs to which project, etc. So how much detail level you want to track the business transactions, which will help you for reporting and other aspects. That everything we can include within the chart of accounts. Anyway, we'll discuss more detail level. Just I'm writing the points. That's it. So to capture the detailed description of the transaction, we require chart of accounts. And when you are recording the transactions in payables, receivables, and other applications, system has to create accounting entries. It has to create debit and credit lines, and debit, which account it has to take, from where it has to take, credit, which account it has to take, from where it has to take. All the rules need to be available. All the rules will be available in the accounting method, or you can call as subledger accounting method. Okay, subledger accounting method. Other than GL, in all the applications, when you are recording the transactions, system has to create the accounting entries by taking the accounts from the different sources, same places. So the rules, everything would be available within the subledger accounting method. So by using this primary ledger, when you create the transaction, date need to be captured, amount need to be specified in the currency, the transaction detail information need to be captured, and how that accounting should take place for the transaction, that we can handle by using the subledger accounting method. We'll discuss one by one and we'll proceed accordingly. First, let's talk about accounting calendar. So we know in EBS how to create the accounting calendar, right? How do we create accounting calendar? First we'll create period type. First we'll create the period type, then we can create accounting calendar. What are the different options we have in the EBS to create the accounting calendar? The first option is manual. Manually, you can go and create the accounting calendar. You can give the periods and period date ranges, etc., etc. You can enter. If not manual process, you can provide all the accounting calendar information in the data loader sheets, and you can load. That means you have to prepare the data in the data loader sheets and you can load. One option is you can create through manual process, and the second option is you have to prepare the complete accounting calendar information outside of the system, that is the data loader sheets, that you can load into the application. These are the two options available. But when it comes to creation, first create the period type, then we can create the accounting calendar. But in Fusion, they did enhancement to accounting calendar. So you don't need to create the period type. Directly you can create accounting calendar automatically by giving the specific details. Okay, so Oracle is providing the predefined period types. By selecting the predefined period type, you can create the accounting calendar. You don't need to create through manual process. You don't need to load. You have to give the certain information, how many periods you require. Okay, how you require some specifications you have to give. That system would create accounting calendar automatically. Okay, so this is what we have to understand. That means we don't need to create through manual process, or you don't need to load, and you don't need to create the period type. Directly you can create the accounting calendar with the help of system process. Okay, the automated accounting calendar creation. That's what we have to understand. We'll see how to create accounting calendar now. Go to our project, search for accounting calendar. So manage accounting calendars, task is same. You can click on any one of the tasks, it will take us to same page, but the same task is available from the different paths. Okay, that's it. No difference. Paths are different. It is available from financial, this path, same financials, different other path is also, you can access the accounting calendar page. Or else from procurement also you can access accounting calendar page. Because since we are working on financials, let's prefer to proceed with the finance related path. Any path, this or this you can select. But all will navigate us to same page. Click on manage accounting calendars. Okay, now click on go to task icon. Okay, see here, manage accounting calendar task is mandatory. Yes, calendar is mandatory to create the primary ledger. Otherwise, you cannot record the transaction within the application, right? Okay, click on go to task icon. Here you could see many accounting calendars are created within this environment because this is a Vision instance. When we are working for our client, we don't see single calendar also. Whatever we create, that would be the first one, right? Let's see how to create. Click on create. So if you know EBS, you should aware of this point. We cannot run the translation in the first period in EBS. The same node they are giving. So if you have a plan of running the translation in the GL application, so make sure that the first period you'll just take care of means. So in the first period, if you cannot run the translation, what is the workaround we do in EBS? Very first period will create as adjusting period. Then our actual first period will become second period. That's how we can manage that. Anyway, we'll discuss when you are working on GL. Maybe if you are aware of this, okay, or else if you are not aware of translation and all, when we are working on GL, we'll see that. Okay. So done. Once you are aware of this product, why they give a note, you can understand. We'll be working on the translation, you can understand that. So here we can give the calendar name, say Google ACC, because it won't accept long name, so limited characters only to accept. That is the reason I'm taking the short name, Google Accounting. So I'm writing here Google Accounting Calendar for USA. So we are going to take the case as we are going to do implement Google US. Okay, so that's the reason I'm creating calendar for Google USA. And start date. So when you are going to create accounting calendar for any country, the simple point is what is the financial year in that country. Based on that, you can create the accounting calendar. Based on the country financial year, we can create the accounting calendar. If you are creating the calendar for India, what is the financial year in India? April to March. So here you have to take the start date as a April 1st. Then automatically system would create the periods up to next month, next year, March. If you are creating the accounting calendar for USA, what is the financial year for USA? Jan to December. Now start date should be 1st Jan. So we fall under current financial year, right? 2019. So I'm selecting 1st Jan. The date format is month, date and year. Period frequency. In case of EBS, these period types we have to create, but in the Fusion, all Oracle is providing as a predefined. So ideally, we create the accounting calendar with monthly. Every month only the companies will go with the managing the books and closing the periods and opening the next period. That's how they'll minimum frequency they'll maintain. So if you are doing the implementation, say for bank, in case of bank, we'll go with the daily. Okay, we can go with the daily kind of periods where you can just create, you can select other and you can give that information. So since here we are creating the accounting calendar, I'm selecting the period frequency as monthly. When you say monthly, automatically system will understand monthly means 12 periods. So when system creates a period, this is the format it will follow. The same you could see. This is a separator between this month and year, and format for this, how many for month, how many characters, for year, how many characters. That system you can specify here how you require. This is standard format of which generally we use. Now when you create accounting calendar, if period frequency is monthly, that means 12 periods we can have. But reality, we may have additional periods. End of the year, if you want to pass adjustment entries, when you are closing the books in the end of the year, if you want to enter some adjustment transactions in the separate period, so we require additional periods. So for that reason, in EBS also we create adjusting periods. Here also you can specify. In order to create here, we have to specify how many adjusting periods we require, how many additional periods we require apart from the standard periods to record the adjustment transaction that you may require in the beginning of the year or mid of the year or end of the year, beginning and to end or every quarter, how you require that you can set. Adjusting period purpose is to record the adjustment transaction. These period to record the actual business transaction, adjusting period to pass the adjustment entries. So ideally we suggest the client to have one at the year end. And if some client required two at the year end, or one in the beginning of the year, one in the end of the year, accordingly we can select here. See here, one set beginning of year, one set end of year. If I select it, along with this 12 periods, system will create two more periods, one in the beginning, one in the end of the calendar. Means before Jan, after December, it will create two additional periods. The same way we have a different options, once mid-year, once at year-end, mid-year and twice at year-end. Okay, in that case it will create three. One in the mid of the year it will create, two periods it will create at the end of the year along with the 12 periods. Once at year-end, twice at year-end. None means we don't want to maintain any adjusting periods. That means you don't have any plan of doing recording the adjustment transactions in the separate period. Another means it will give you the number where you can specify how many adjustment periods you require. Quarterly means each quarter, for each 3 periods it will create one adjusting period. So you can select how it is required. I'm selecting once at year end. And here you could see one checkbox called as budgetary control only. In Fusion, in EBS, whatever the accounting calendar we have, the same accounting calendar you can use for budgeting also. But in the Fusion, apart from the accounting calendar, you can have a separate calendar for budgeting also. If you want to use this accounting calendar budgeting purpose to define the budget, you can enable the checkbox so that this accounting calendar you can use for only budgeting, not into primary ledger. So you may maintain separate calendars, one for budgeting, one for your primary ledger, or else if you create like this, the same will be available for budgeting by default. But if you mark it as a budgetary control only, this should be used for only budgetary control. So these are the points we have to understand. Once I click on next, it will create the 12 periods automatically. Any questions here, please?
Hello.
Please.
Yeah,
Questions, please.
Lakshman, Lakshman, the system definitely won't stop us if we give the start date as back date, right?
Sorry?
As in this screen,
Simple. The point is very simple. You are not creating the transaction. You are creating the calendar. The calendar range is what that you are specifying. You can create with the past dates also. Calendar's creation is allowed. You can do that. Not only in the Fusion, even in EBS or any other systems also, it is possible. Yeah, it will allow.
Hi, Blackman. Quick one.
Yeah.
Can we change the accounting period frequency later on? Say, for example.
No. We cannot. It's a one-time task. You have to decide. You have to be very sure about it. You cannot change.
Okay. So
you cannot change anything.
So if we say we only have one adjusting period, at the end of the year, we can't come back and say, oh, we need two later on. So the client has to be very sure the adjusting periods that they want in the beginning.
Yeah. See, these things cannot be changed. These calendar creations and chart of accounts and all, these are very critical decisions. You have to decide on that. But to create the accounting calendar, there are no several points which you have to consider. Simple point is, what is the country financial year? Accordingly, you have to create. Ideally, we use monthly. If they have a requirement of weekly, etc., accordingly you can create. Once you create, you cannot change. That's it.
And another in the setups, if we're operating in say multiple countries, like you imported for both USA and India, that means we need to import for all those countries the legal entities that the organization is operating in. Is that it?
No, let's discuss those points once we reach that stage.
Okay.
Definitely, I'll cover. I should cover those points. I'll cover, but let's talk about calendar only now. Again, we have to discuss many points if you raise that point. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
We'll discuss everything as a part of enterprise structure, on what base, what we have to create, how many we have to create, why we have to create. Everything we'll discuss.
So this calendar, it will be by default for budgetary control, right?
Yes, if you enable budgetary control only, this accounting calendar you can use for budgeting purpose only. If you want
just
to
if
use
I not
accounting calendar for primary ledger as well as budget purpose, you don't need to enable. This would be available for both.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah. Fine. Any other questions here, please? No questions. Okay. So now just click on next. So that system would create accounting calendar. Monthly means 12 periods. Once at year end means one more period. Total with 13 periods, it will create the accounting calendar automatically. Just click on next. See, system created accounting calendar. So it created periods Jan to December, and 13th period also it created. That system marked as an adjusting period. This is only to record the adjustment entries, not to record the real business transactions. And taken year as 2019 and period number, periods falls under which quarter, start date, end date, everything is taken. Now simply click on save. Okay, done. Once you click on save, now system will allow you to create the periods for future years. If you click on add year, now as of now we have periods only for 2019, right? With one click you can create the periods for entire year, that is next year. See, just click on add year, it will create the periods for 2020. It created for 2020. If you click on once again, after that you have to save it. After saving this periods, you can click on add year. It will create the periods for 2021 year. So this is how simply you can just with one click you can add the entire year periods. So this is how we have to create the accounting calendar in the Fusion. You no need to enter anything, you don't need to load. The simple process is you have to give the specifications, what is the period frequency, how many adjusting periods you require, and what format you require when you are creating the periods. These you have to specify. Then system would create automatically. In case of EBS, you may load or you may enter, and if you enter dates wrong, and again it will run the validation process. Again you have to correct and you have to resubmit, validate and all. Now anyway, system knows which period when it starts, when it ends. Okay, starting for every period start first only, but ending it ends. April ends in 30th or 31st, or May ends 30th or 31st. Feb ends with the 28th or 29th. These are all system knows they program. So automatically it will generate the start date and date so that there won't be any issues with the accounting calendar. So this is what we have to understand. Say save and close. Our accounting calendar is ready. Okay, if you are implementing for India and US, for India one accounting calendar you create, for US another accounting calendar we have to create. Now we are say we are going to do the implementation for US, we created accounting calendar for US only. Done. That's all about accounting calendar creation. Now we are creating accounting calendar based on the country financial year. We have to create the accounting calendar. How many additional periods you require, that we call as adjusting periods. The purpose of adjusting periods to record the adjustment entries only, not to record the real business transactions. Real business transactions you have to record in the real periods only. Currency. when you create the transaction, say you are going to enter 10,000. The 10,000 is what? Which currency? That you have to specify. That is the reason you have to make sure that the currency is available to select into primary ledger. So we have to enable the currency. All currencies Oracle is providing, but we have to enable the currency, which currency we required at the time of primary ledger creation. So if you are doing the implementation in India, US, the USD currency we call as functional currency. The country local currency we call as functional currency. Right? You are doing the business in US, so USD is the functional currency. When you are doing the business in US, India currency we call as foreign currency. Foreign currency. So these are the two type of currencies, functional and foreign. There is another type of currency that really that is not currency. When we are working on that concept, we will discuss. That is a stat. For now, not required for us. So whenever it is required, we'll discuss and we'll proceed. For now, just try to understand. Okay. If you are doing the implementation in India, INR is the functional. For India, USD is the foreign. If you are doing the business in India, USA, USD is the functional. Other country currencies we call as foreign currencies. So now we have to enable the functional currency. We are going to do the implementation, say for USA client. So now USD currency we have to enable so that at the time of primary ledger creation, that currency can be selected into primary ledger. That's how we'll create the primary ledger. So let's go to the currencies page. Search for managed currencies. Okay, search for managed currencies. Just any task, all tasks will navigate us to same page. Paths are different. Click on any one of the tasks. Click on go to task icon. So you can find out any currency here. The difference between EBS and Fusion is in EBS by default all currencies are disabled, and before that we no need to create any currency. When you get the instance from Oracle, all currencies would be available in the instance only. Whatever data is available within the instance that we call as seeded data. Right? Seeded data. That means currency data is seeded data. Seeded data means which Oracle provides, which we no need to create, that we call as seeded data, which comes with the product. So currencies you don't need to decide. Currency part you don't need to decide. So all the currencies Oracle will provide. Which currency you require you have to enable in EBS. But Fusion also all currencies are available. But what Oracle is doing is by default they are enabling all the currencies. You don't need to enable. In case of EBS, you have to enable, then only the currency would be available. But in the Fusion, you no need to enable. Okay, Fusion you no need to enable. All currencies are enabled. Okay, if you don't want other currencies other than which currency you require, those you may disable. This is a reverse action. In EBS, say for example, you are doing the business in India, so you have to enable INR. You want to record the foreign transactions in other 5 currencies. Total 6 currencies you have to enable. Functional currency and other 5 foreign currencies. Total 6 currencies you have to enable. Remaining all currencies, whatever we have in the system, those will be in the disabled mode, so that when you are recording the transaction, those won't be visible. But in the Fusion, by default, Oracle is enabled all the currencies. So when you are recording the transactions, all these currencies would be available. If you are recording the transaction, the functional currency, that would get defaulted. But if you are recording the transaction with the foreign currencies, all currencies will be available in the LOV. You have to go into search and select among all those currencies whatever the currency required. So instead of accessing all the currencies which are not required for business users, you may disable. And the simple point is, in Fusion you don't need to enable the currencies. All currencies are by default enabled. Search for USD currency. You can see that is enabled. Search for INR currency. Okay, that is enabled. So you can expand here. You can see that other details, issuing territory and the symbol, etc., etc. All you could see related to currency record. Now what I'll do is, without giving any currency code, I'll search so that you can see all the currencies. You can notice all the currencies are enabled. Okay, All the currencies are by default enabled. We don't need to enable. That's only the difference we have to understand. Okay, that means we don't need to do any task related to currency. By default, we need whatever the currency we require by default, that is enabled. Now let's talk about chart of accounts. Okay. Chart of accounts. So,
Sorry, one question here, Lakshman.
please.
If it is automatically enabled, then how it will consider that it is a functional currency and it is a foreign currency?
Whatever the currency you select in the ledger, that is a functional. Other currencies all are foreign. That's it.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah. So if you are going to record the transaction for USA, you need which currency? USD. So when you are creating
Yes.
ledger for USA, so you have to select USD only. So within the ledger, what are the currency you have that you can call as functional currency, or you can call as ledger currency also.
Okay. Okay.
You can call as functional
Uh,
currency or ledger currency.
Lakshman, I have a question.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is with respect to the calendar part. Like you told that if we want to create add a new year, we have to create click add year button, right?
Correct.
Is it possible? I mean, just for my knowledge, I'm asking: is it possible to add multiple years at the same time?
With one click, 1 year. That's it. Multiple years means multiple clicks. That's it.
Okay. Okay, fine. Thanks. Regarding currency, is there a provision to create currency on our own?
If currency is not available, you are implementing
Uh-huh.
for so and so country. For that country,
Okay.
currency is not available in the system, then you have to create. Ideally, for all the countries, currencies are available. Oracle provides that. We no need to worry about. In any scenario,
Uh,
create currency. That's it.
no, like in EBS, we were doing implementation for one African country. It was not there,
Yeah,
so
you
we
can
had to
create in that
define.
case. See, here in that case, you can go and create. Click on create. That's what I said. For which country you are doing the implementation, by mistake or as a standard application, if the currency is missing, then you can create here.
So, as a demo, can you just show for one creation? Yeah.
The currency name is XXX. Save it over. This is a new currency.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
Currency, translation you required. We have to set the additionally these all attributes. Issuing territory. This is belongs to which country and all you can specify, then it will accept. Okay. That's
Okay, fine. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
fine. Yeah, please. Any questions?
A quick one on currency. So the currency we're sort of defining, is it the functional currency of the instance or for the legal entities that are going to we're going to set up in the GL?
Yes. So in which country you are doing the business with the registration? Registration means legal entity. The registration information will capture into system as a legal entity. Yes, in that country, what is the local currency that we have to take into ledger definition, that only we call as functional currency.
Okay. So what I'm going to so for example, if we have like in that particular primary ledger, we have like 10 legal entities all operating in different geographies. So one in India, one in America.
One second. You may have 1 or 10 legal entities, but you can associate the legal entities all to one ledger which are belongs to same country. Okay, different country legal entities you cannot assign to single ledger.
Okay.
That's what I said. The legal entity and all these points which you are referring, I will explain detail level. Then you'll get clarity on that. Now don't correlate with that. We are not discussing the relevant points. I'll explain detail.
So this currency is just
When you come to know on what base those we create, then you can understand these points. I'll explain that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Lakshman, I have one question regarding the calendars.
Yeah.
You created this calendar for USA. Do we have to create these accounting calendars for every country, or just for the
Every country you have to
Okay.
create. Every country financial years are different. Say you are going to do the implementation for 10 countries. Out of 10 countries, 5 countries calendars financial years are same. The same accounting calendar you can use for 5 countries.
Okay.
One you can use for multiple country when if those countries also require similar calendar. That's it.
Okay, so the calendar you create, we can assign that to multiple countries, right?
Multiple countries not, you can take the calendar into multiple ledgers. When you create accounting calendar, we require it to primary ledger. Say India financial year and US financial years are same, for example. You can create an accounting calendar from Jan to December. When you create the primary ledger for India, you can select. When you create the primary ledger for USA, you can select the same. Because both countries follow same financial year, so same calendar is enough.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, that's how we can do. Right. Any other questions? The chart of accounts we'll see in the next session. We'll discuss very detailed level because on what base and how the chart of accounts can be designed, what points we have to consider. We'll discuss more detail level. Okay. So any questions from anyone on today's session or from last session or about this course? Any questions from anyone, please?
Lakshman?
Yeah.
With respect to calendar, as you said that there is, unlike EBS, we have the data loader that is not required. So, I understand it's not required, but do we have a provision to load if we want?
No.
Okay.
We don't have.
Okay. And another thing, when we can expect the instance which we could use to practice whatever you have shown today and
So the
yesterday?
guys who subscribed this course, who made the payment, hope they got instance access already. A few guys already subscribed, and who just done with the payment, they'll be getting immediately.
Okay.
Yeah. Any questions?
So Lakshman, this course for non-EBS background people, like how that would be like?
Yeah. Non-EBS background means like if you have
PeopleSoft.
basic, what is that? What is it?
PeopleSoft.
Yeah, if you have some other applications, yes, you can understand very easily. Okay, you may be technical that functional on PeopleSoft or JD, okay, JD Edwards or anything else. Yes, you'll be able to understand. You know the complete application in that kind of environment, but here the naming conventions and those will be different. That anyway we'll be discussing. We'll go through. Even if you have a non-EBS background, yes, you can attend now. That will work. I'll be covering accordingly where I have to focus. If you have such kind of background, that I'll take it.
Okay.
But who has EBS background, for them the advantage is we'll be comparing with that EBS so that easily they can correlate. And in your case, you can ignore that point. If you don't understand that point, no issue, since you don't have experience on that. Anyway, you will be understanding this product.
Okay.
One more question, Lakshman. Here you explained that currency based upon the ledger currency, right? So,
No. One second. Currency based on ledger currency means what?
Means a functional currency automatically it will
in
come.
ledger, whatever the currency we use, that we call as functional currency or ledger currency.
Yeah, we have some stat and MLR
Yes.
kind of ledgers will be there. In that scenario, how it means?
No, see, those currencies, you never record the business transaction. Some kind of calculations purpose we use it. That's it. You never select those into ledger.
Okay, okay, got it.
Yeah.
Because I'm a technical guy, so I'm
Okay.
little
Okay. Yeah.
confused. So that was
We'll work on
thank
it.
you.
We have a concept called as
Okay,
applications. Okay. At that time,
okay, thank you.
we'll talk on that and we'll see that how it works.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. Any other questions? Okay. Seems to no questions. So we can just wind up for today. We'll connect in the next weekend, same time. Thank you all. Have a good day and good night. See you in the next weekend.